you will, so that you can all hear us, but just to cut down on the background noise that sometimes happens, people walking in and out of offices or on the road listening, that type of thing. We have everybody muted right now. So hopefully that will not cause anybody great stress. But if you, again, on the right-hand side, if you see the questions area, if you, as we're going, if you have questions, please just type them in there. We will do our best to answer them at the end, so that we can get through all of the information. And what we've done in the past is that we take all of the questions, write out answers to them, and then everyone will be given a follow-up email, which will include a link to the recorded webinar, so you can share it with colleagues, along with an answer, all the questions listed and answers given, so that everybody will have the same thing. So I just wanted to let you know that if for some reason you miss an answer or anything like that, they will be provided to you as a follow-up after the webinar, probably tomorrow or Thursday at the latest. We run through the recording and make sure everything is okay. So anyways, so again, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. As you probably saw in the title of the invitation, this is a webinar to review our latest release of the suite, and primarily the IATF 16949 2016 template pack. For those of you that are on the phone, I'm assuming that means that you get the lovely trip to start switching over from the last version of TS 16949 to this new standard. So and some of you probably already have the TS 16949 template pack, and we're going to talk about how you can transition from that. Some of you online may not have any of our template packs or authoring tools or anything like that, and are just curious as to maybe what the suite can do to help you out through this process. And hopefully we will answer all of those questions today. As I mentioned, if you see on your screen the spider chart, we have highlighted the areas that we're going to talk about today. In the left bottom hand corner, you will see the template packs that we now offer to our customers. And as most of you probably know, the ISO 9001 and the ISO 14001 went through a great big revision at the end of 2015 also. And so today we offer template packs with content for both of those standards also. And certainly we've had the TS 16949 that has had content in it. And now today we're going to talk about the IATF 16949 that is content rich also. And basically what that means is that we provide content for you to start with. What we found way back when we first got into this business with the ISO and the QS standards being released is that it was a lot easier for someone to sit down at a computer with our template packs and look at content, read it, and say, okay, this doesn't really pertain to us, this does, I want to change it to make my own, rather than opening up a Word document and staring at that blank screen, and saying, what do we do and where do I start? So that's what I mean by content-rich template packs. As you see in that box, we do offer template packs for other standards that have been released, ISO 13485 and AS 9100 are structure only. In fact, the rest of those are all structure only. The 13485 and the AS 9100 have been updated to their latest releases also. So obviously it's been a busy year and a half, both with the standards committee and here at Waypoint Global, as we've been updating everything to make sure that we're in line with these new releases of the standards. We're going to show a little bit of the policy, procedure, and instruction writer. Again, for those of you who have used them in the past, you're familiar with them. We've freshened them up a little bit with new icons and things like that, but also certainly made sure that they are up to date to be able to handle any changes that were made in the template packs. And List Builder is a module that some of you may not have even known that we had. We have gone through a total rewrite from the ground up. This is a way for you to do mass printing, mass exporting. If you have a group of documents that you need to maybe export to send out to a customer, or just want to export them and shoot them in a group email around your company or something, you can do that, and it will export them into the native format. So we're going to touch on that just so you have a little bit of an idea of what that module can do. As for those of you who have been in webinars before, I have my esteemed colleague, Brad Anderson, on the phone with me today. He is our internal guru on the standards, as many of you, if you've ever had the chance to talk with him, you get a lot of bang for your buck when you get to talk with Brad. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and we so appreciate him here at Waypoint Global. And so he is going to take us through this release and the updates. And again, I'm going to mute myself and jump on to the questions, and to the best of my ability, I will either answer them, or at the end, we will go ahead and read them out loud. And then Brad, also Dwight Funk is on the phone with us too, if we get into anything that we need his help with. And but Brad pretty much is going to take us through everything. Also, just wanted to let you know, I'm in the process of emailing the license files out to everybody. So if you have not received your license file yet, it will be coming. Also, the latest release is available for download from our website. For the new license file, for the new template pack to work, you do need to be on the latest release. So one, might want to ping your IT folks to let them know that you're in need of an upgrade. Certainly contact technical support if you need our assistance, or your IT staff needs our assistance. That's what we're here for. We'd be happy to make sure that you're up and running on the latest version and get that template pack installed. So I'll touch back on that again at the end, but Brad, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over to you, and we'll go ahead and dig in.
Okay, I think I was muted there. So thank you, Carrie. Appreciate the introduction and the kind words. Welcome, everybody. We'll get started with the presentation here. And we wanted to make sure that you're aware of the latest offerings in our most frequent release here. The release for R4 contains the template pack for IATF 16949. You notice that is a new standards organization. The IATF has taken over responsibility from ISO, and that's a big change in itself. We also had an authoring tool refreshing, as Carrie was mentioning. The look is very new. It's different from the way it's looked in the past, but everything is still in the same place. So if you're accustomed to locations of clicking on toolbars, those locations didn't change, just the appearance of the icons have. The new release of List Builder is now included, as well as some other enhancements and bug fixes to the assorted other modules that we offer. So as I mentioned, major changes have come down to ISO TS 16949. First, it's not ISO TS anymore. It's not an ISO standard. And they're going to charge you twice now. You're going to get to pay for the ISO 9001-2015 version of the standard that you'll have to separate or obtain from another organization. Either I think you can get that from ANSI, you can get it from ISO directly at a reduced rate compared to what ANSI wants for it. You also can get it from a variety of other sources, but you'll need that and your copy of IATF 16949, which in the US is being offered by the Automotive Industry Action Group, AIAG, has it available out on their website. You can't buy it directly from IATF, or at least I haven't figured out a way to buy it directly from them. If you try to click on anything to buy from them, it takes you to the IAG website. They're carrying over the new requirements from 9001-2015, so you're going to need to be able to identify things about your organization that you probably already knew, such as the context of your organization, why you exist, where you headed, how you address risks and opportunities. And these are all things that people have been doing for years, or they wouldn't be able to stay in business. But as a result of now having to define them, there's consultants everywhere ringing the alarm bells. Oh, you need to do this, you need to do this. And like I said, chances are good you've already been doing it. It just may not be as well documented as you might need it to be. Another big change is that management now must take ability. In the ISO requirements, they have eliminated the position of the management representative. They want the top management to be responsible for the functioning and the accountable for the management system. It's not been well received, as I'm sure you can imagine. With the IATF, they're making it a little easier to keep that point person in place for your management system. Also, there's not a specific requirement for a policy manual in the ISO standard. In IATF, they're saying you need to have a policy manual, but it can be in the form of a list of documents, either procedures or a list of statements that together combined is considered a policy manual. So they really made it, in 9001 world, they've made it a lot less prescriptive, and IATF has tried to rectify that, and I think they've gone a little bit more overboard and made it very prescriptive. As far as how we're going to try to help you address that, we're going to be providing you with a lot of different template documents to help you get started, just as we have since really the beginning of the authoring tools. Now the count of policy manual templates are up to 8 for you to choose from. There's examples at the clause level, there's examples at 1 decimal point into the standard, and then there's also the drill down version, which goes down as far as the standard goes. So if it's 7.1.5.2.1, your requirements section will go all the way down that far. So it will take you as deep as you need to do, or if you want to just handle it at everything under clause 4 or clause 5, which, by the way, there are now 7 clauses instead of 5, as there were in the old version of the standard, and they've renumbered everything. So be prepared to learn all new numbering for all other requirements and all other sections. Nothing stayed the same. Everything has changed. As far as procedure templates go, we've increased the number of procedure templates just because there are some additional areas where they want you to have some type of documented process in place. We've added some for like emergency preparedness, for plant safety. We've also added some for compliance with legal requirements, because now you need to very closely identify your statutory and regulatory requirements, which is something that really wasn't something that was stressed in the past. And I guess the jury is still out as to how much emphasis those are getting in the current audits. But I haven't talked to too many people that have actually been through any type of a registration audit for the standard yet. So, and I think the auditors are still learning and trying to smooth out their transition to the standard as well. People that I have talked to have met a variety of different approaches in the way that the auditors are approaching the standard. We have increased our number of instruction templates as well to help you in that area. So we're just trying to give you a head start so that you can start with documents that are ready to edit, instead of, as Carrie mentioned, staring at that blank screen saying, what do I say and what does it need to look like? The audit checklist, my gosh, there are a ton of questions. The number of requirements in the IATF 16949 standard is about 3 times of what was in the 9001. They have just gone crazy with the number of shall statements. Like I said, it's about 3 times the number that was in ISO 9001. So be prepared for a lot of requirements. As I mentioned, the authoring tool has been, all three of the authoring tools have been refreshened with some new icons, and gosh, they already look so familiar to me. I've been in the tools so much lately, this looks like it home to me. So the icon bar, just everything is placed the same. It's just that you've got a little bit newer icon there to point you to what you need. We also are providing you and continuing on with the ability to update your current documents. So if you have documents to an existing standard, we'll give you the opportunity. So like for your procedures and instructions, obviously we can't do it with the policy manual because of the dramatic change in the structure. But with the procedures and instructions, if you have current documentation, you'll be able to use that current documentation so that you don't have to recreate that for the new version of the standard. We give you a very easy way to change the standard. As you can see under the tools menu on the menu bar there, you click on the change standard option and it brings up, as you see on the right hand side, a little dialog showing your current standard and giving you the option of what standard you wish to change to. And in the policy reference or standard reference section of your either your procedure or your instruction, it will cut the current standard and replace that, the structure with checkboxes with all of the new elements. So you'll be able to select which elements you wish to apply. Now, since they have divvied up the content from the previous version of the standard and spread it all throughout, for example, like under 6.2.2 competence, training, and awareness in the old standard, they actually have created different sections like 7.2 competence and 7.3 training. And so it's not possible for us to remap all of the places where you wanted to perhaps have those, but it's pretty easy to make those check marks in the things that are applicable to you. And I'll show you that in the live product demonstration later on in the presentation here. But at least you will be able to continue to use those procedures and instructions. We've even made it possible for customers that are currently using, we've come across some customers that are using the QS 9000 3rd edition templates. And you can even go from a QS 9000 3rd edition template just because you've been using it for so long. You can go ahead and transition those directly to the IATF 16949 2016 standard. So good news for you on that. With List Builder has completely been rebuilt, and now you have basically, if you're familiar with Suite Data Editor, anything that you can search for using Suite Data Editor, you can now search for it in List Builder the very same way. And then you've got the ability to either batch print, you can batch copy, you can export to a PDF. You just have a variety of options of what you want to do with that current version of the document. If you just want a list of documents, you can do that. If you want to list by particular indexing combinations, you can create your indexing combinations, or if you want to do it by owner or final approval authority, or there's just a myriad of opportunities for you to mix and match what it is that you're looking for, and then do something with that resulting query of all of the document titles. So I'll also go through that in the presentation here. We've also updated our Office Viewer. The Office Viewer is now a site licensed product. So now you've got the opportunity, you don't have to, you still need to install it at each of the individual workstations, but you don't need to have a license for it anymore. The license is included in desktop. And that's going to give you superior viewing and print control on even Adobe Acrobat PDF files, as well as the latest Windows Office Microsoft Office files. So whether it's Excel, Word, Project, Visio, OneNote, PowerPoint, it doesn't matter. All of those are now viewable using the WPG Office Viewer, and it renders a very nice image, very true to form. And in the Excel, you can either view it as a paged or a not paged view. The not paged view tries to view the document as a one screen view. So if you've got a really large spreadsheet, it's going to be, the type is going to be very small. The text is going to be very small because it's trying to view the entire worksheet as a document. And for that reason, we have given you the ability to view the paged and use the paged version when you register it. And that gives you more of the print preview mode, so you can see the header and the footer information as well. So if you've got a form, it'll view as the document does in a print preview mode. And then you can advance through it screen by screen. Okay, well, let's get into the live product demo here. All right, so I'm into desktop here. Let's go to Policy Writer right off the bat here. And if I go to new, we'll see that there are a lot of new templates in here. So here are the IATF templates. All right, so we have a management system policy manual at the clause level. There is the one that goes, the drill down version that goes all the way as far down as the decimal points go. And then at the high level is considered the 1 decimal point version. And then we've also provided a blank one with a no requirement section. And we've had some customers that have said the policy manual is just too long, it's just not usable. So for those, we've even offered another option here. Let's take a look at the drill down version. We'll just open one up here. You do have the wizard there that'll walk you through the process if you would like, or you can just start with the content and be ready to edit. And if we go into just viewing the document here, here's our document. And this document is a little over 100 pages in length. It's there's a lot to be said. As I mentioned, there's a lot of shall statements. So we have gone through and updated everything. You've got all new references to the requirements in the standard, and they're sprinkled throughout. When we get back into the requirements section here, at the clause level, you're going to have a policy statement, and then for all of the individual sections that have a lower, as I mentioned, we've got some that have additional requirements where they're breaking down the higher level requirement. What IATF has done is they've taken the ISO requirements. ISO only went to 4.3, but IATF added some additional requirements and broke it into different sections here for 4.3.1 and 4.3.2. Under 4.4, they broke that up into a large area here. And I'm not sure why they did this. They gave it a number, but they did not give it a header. So we adjusted and have put a period as representative of the header. Okay, so lots and lots of content for you here to start with, and you're free to use as much as you want or as little as you want. You can still add in your customer-specific requirements. That's usually a bigger thing in the automotive customer. So under edit structure, you can go in and add whatever customers you want. And if you're an FCA supplier, FCA US LLC, or Ford, or maybe you've got a tier 1 supplier that you're providing product to, or tier 2. Any customer requirements can be added here, and that will add a customer requirements section as soon as you add one here. So if I just add one here, so I'll just say FCA US. And that is going to automatically add a section here, and it's also going to add a glossary section. Okay, so now we can see there's a plus sign in front of customer. So now I've got an FCA area in my policy manual, and I also have an FCA US LLC glossary specific for those. So you can add as many customers as you need to in your policy manual. Okay, hopefully we generated some questions here about policies. Let's go ahead and take a look at procedures here. I've got an example of an ISO 9001, ISO TS 16949-2002 procedure here. And if we go into File, Advanced Properties here, and look at the indexing, we can see that this document is already indexed to a variety of 2002 elements as well as to that standard. If I hover over there, you can see it's a 2002 standard here. And it doesn't matter whether this was a 2002 or a QS, it's all going to work the same here. So I just wanted you to see that in advance here. The structure has not changed. You'll still have your purpose and scope, your definitions, responsibilities. If we look at the document here, you can see how the document looks exactly the same. Only these are the things that you'll want to check as well when you're using current ones. If you've left these references into elements, you'll want to update those to the new element that is the new requirements within the standard. And so in order to change this to an IATF 16949 2016 standard, I just need to go up to Tools and then change standard, and it opens up the window. And if I select 2016 there and say OK, it's going to tell me that I'm going to have to check in that document. So it's going to check it in for me. And I've got a couple of invalid items there, some references that need to be changed. And then I'll go ahead and check the document back out so we can edit those policy references here. Take care of those in a minute here. So in the policy reference section here, now you can see the new structure. So here's the 2016 structure. And then I would just need to identify what it is that matters to me here. So customer will say, this is contract review, so requirements for. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and select those. If I'm selecting something in 8.2.2, I probably want to go ahead and highlight 8.2 and 8 just so that I have the clauses as well. And then I'll go ahead and refresh this document. So we'll view it, I'll hit the refresh, save it. And we also need to update our references as well. So if you have current documents that are referencing the ISO 9000 and 9004, and even the ISO TS, you'll want to remove those. It's not something that you can validate. And then we'll click on the Add button. And I'll just click the eyes to get down to the beginning of them here, and we'll go in and we'll select ISO 9000 for the terms and definitions. So here is my fundamentals and vocabulary. I'll go ahead and do the requirements. And then I need to find the cues here. What is quality management? I'm hoping that's in here. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for it here. Just so that you can see there is a quality management system requirements for the Automotive Production and Relevant Service Parts Organization. Reference in there as well. So I'll go up here to document information, view my document, refresh, so that all of those changes have been saved. I'll go ahead and save the document, and now I'll check it in, and when I check it in, all of that indexing is going to get updated based upon the new sections that we selected. So if I go into index, now we can see all of those new references are in place, the new standards in place, and our new reference documents are in place. So it's not that difficult of a process to go in and update a procedure or an instruction to the new version of the standard. Now, obviously, you'll need to go through the procedure steps and make sure that all of those steps are still necessary or required, or that you still are doing them. Do you need to do them? That's still something that you're going to have to review, but it's a lot better than starting from scratch. If you do have something that you need to start from scratch, get in here and scroll down here. Got a lot of procedure templates in here. Okay, so here's where the IATF begins. So 44 with content and 1 normal that has just the structure and format. So lots to start from. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at instruction writer here. I think instruction writer is going to look very similar again. Let's see, I think I've got a procedure or an instruction I've already created here. All right, so here is one that I've already created. That's also to the 2002 version. So if we need to go through that process again, once again, the editing process of the instructions has not changed. The icons, yes, look nice and new, fresh. But the workspace itself has not changed, so nothing new to learn there. And then viewing the document, still views just as it always has. Yeah, so we can see all of those elements referenced in the standard references area and other reference documents that we need to update here. So how would we go about updating them? Well, just as we did in the procedure, the document's checked out. So I go to change standard. Oh, well, that's interesting. This one's created, this one's already to 2016. So I don't have the option to go to a different one because this one's already been changed. So I can change it to one of the other standards that's also at the current, at the most recent revision, but I can't change it from a 2016 to a 2002. I can't go backwards, but I can go forward. Okay. I create another one here from a 9000 or from a IATF, let's say about a 2009. Okay, so if we look in the standard references area here, here's the old 4-clause approach, or 5-clause approach. It goes from 4 to 8, and that's all there is. So I'll start this off here, and we'll change this to suite. Old templates have old names. And then we'll go ahead and make sure that there's something in here that makes this unique. I'll say Wizard 1. We'll go ahead and save our title. And then if we want to change this to a newer version of the standard, now this shows that the current one is a 2009. This one's, we want to change it to 2016, so I select OK. And once again, it's going to check it in for us. Take care of those invalid items here in a minute. And the standard has now changed. So I need to check out the document in order to update some of these other references. So for example, the fundamentals and vocabulary document, I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove the TS 16949. Those I can go ahead and leave. Those example documents would still be the same. So I'll go down here to the ISO standard references. There's my vocabulary. And I'm going to add a different one here. See if I can get to the keys. There's my let's see it there. Okay, I'll just select another document here. And so those are now updated here. I would want to go to my responsibility codes and validate those. And validate everything in the definitions area. You'd want to go through and make sure you're getting the latest. So some of these cases you may find that the offsets are not suitable, so you may want to just go through and remove and re-add from the latest standards pool, because if you do add, you'll notice we have been moving all of the reference points to the individual standards from where they came over into the definition themselves. So all of the IATFs are listed in the right-hand side. And we are providing definitions for a variety of different standards in the pools. So I just want to go through and select some here. That's okay. So now those are in here, so you can see the way that they're going to appear as well. And then we'll go ahead and refresh the document. I'll save it. And then we'll check it in. Didn't update those. Okay. And then we go down to advanced properties. Again, under the indexing, now we can see the standard. I didn't select any of the elements for that particular one, or they will all be listed there as well. But you can see the standard is in place. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get out of the instruction writer here. Let's take a look at List Builder. Oh, before we go any further, I did make a note here. I wanted to show you just a couple of the documents that come along with this. There's a shall statement locator coverage matrix. So if you go to quick search and go to shall, where is my there in the testing environment. I'm wondering why it's not showing up here. Okay. not seeing what I was looking for there, so we'll just go over here to List Builder. And within List Builder, if you have seen the user interface for Suite Data Editor, you have the exact same interface here. At least it appears to be the same as you did in Suite Data Editor. So if you want to search for something by title or by number or by owner, say for example, if you want to see all of the documents that are owned by a particular user, go down here to the Results tab and hit our Query button, and there are all of the documents that are currently owned by the user engineer. And so if we wanted to batch print, or if we wanted to, if I just click in this window here, if I wanted to batch print all of those, I could then go to Export Documents, and then I've got the opportunity to print to PDF. I can export to PDF, or I can export a copy in the native application, native environment. And do I want the file name format by the document title or by the quick reg format? And I can even change the destination if I want. Okay, you can also export the grid results. The grid results will then export to a destination of your choice. And from there, those grid results, there's my query results, and the ones that we just did. So there are the results that we just exported. And it's an XLSX format, so I can spread this out and parse it however I want. We've had a number of customers that have asked to be able to create lists of different types of documents, whether it's procedures, maybe procedures by department, engineering drawings by department or by project, and they want to export a list of the current documents. So you'll notice that the status of the documents is also listed there, as well as the current revision. Okay. I'm not going to save those changes. And I think that's going to do it for me, Carrie. Do we have questions that we need to answer?
We do have a few that have come in. So
I know we have some that have come up from other, no, it's the wrong one. Okay, so I know we had some that came out of some other webinars there that can you use my existing procedures and instructions? Yes, whether you adopt the new structure or not, you do have the ability to use those current procedures and instructions. The current policy manual is going to be a little bit more problematic because everything changed. And that's why we provided you with expanded the number of policy manual templates that you can choose from, even the no requirement section. Shortest no requirement section policy manual I've seen is right about 10 pages, which seems to be attractive to some folks. And then how much time do you have to reach conformance? Pretty much most standards conformance that I've seen expire, the certificates are expiring in October of 18. So you do have time. So it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow, but it is definitely on the horizon. Okay. So you say there are other questions, Gary?
Yes, we do have some. So, and there was a comment saying that the policy manual did look a little bit difficult or just a lot more than maybe what they've had in the past. And as you just referred to, it has changed so much that there is, it sounds like there's a little bit more work to do within the policy manual than maybe changes in the past. Would that be a fair way to put it?
There is a tremendous amount more requirements. In the past, as I recall, in the 2009 version, I think there were a little less than, I think it was about 475 shall statements. And I believe now there's over 1,000. So anytime you're going to be doubling the amount of requirements, you're going to be documenting a lot more.
Brad is just a ray of sunshine, isn't he? He's just a ray of sunshine to us today, just giving us all kinds of warm, fuzzy feelings. But
well,
anyway, but it is what it is. And what we've done, as you all, as you know, what we've done to the best of our ability is taken, a standard that we didn't have any say in it, unfortunately, and the amount of changes that are in there. And we're just trying to, again, make changes in the template pack and to be of assistance to you to the best of our ability to help you get to the end result. So a couple of other questions that have come in. Does the title of the document and document number stay the same when updating the template? And I don't know if we need it. It does. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Does the document maintain the history of the previous template in the same document file?
It does. Yes.
All right. I like it when the answer is yes. Yay, rah.
I do too.
Yeah, exactly. Here is another question. We have self-defined definitions in the definition pool. Will these definitions still be available in the pool once the definition pool is updated with the upgrade?
Yes. I'm liking these questions, Gary. This is great.
I know. Just keep firing away, everybody.
Yeah, we're merging the new definitions, the new terms and definitions into your existing definitions pool. So we're not going to take anything away from your current definitions pool. We're only adding to it. Just the way we do with any of the pools, just like with responsibility codes or records, we don't take anything away because you may have highly customized that and you don't want us messing with that. And we appreciate that. So we understand. And so we're only adding to with the new definitions. We're not taking anything existing away from. And that's another advantage when you're, like you said, with the revision history with the previous question. It's a continuation of that same document. We're just taking that standard or policy reference area section, depending on whether it's a procedure or an instruction, and we're just clipping that particular section and replacing it with the current standard structure so that you can then do your selections there. So your revision history, if you've had that document when you started with QS and then went to ISO TS and to 2002 and then to 2009 and now you're going to 16, you're going to have a rich revision history on that document, I would imagine.
Sure.
So yeah, we're not going to take any of that away. And it's important to maintain that audit trail. And so that's why this is such a powerful feature.
Great. Thank you. I know that this question has even come up when I've been talking to customers, and it has come up today, is when somebody goes through that upgrade process and installs the new IATF 16949 template pack, do they still have access to both standards? Their old TS, or in some situations, maybe QS. And I think you've kind of answered this, but I'm going to ask it in the way the question was asked. As far as, do they still have access to both standards and the procedures that go to both as they're working towards the new standard?
They do. So yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Once again, we're not taking anything away. We're only adding to. So you will you'll just have another standard there. You'll have another entire set of templates, just like you saw when I was going through Instruction Writer and Policy Writer and Procedure Writer. There were multiple standards in there, multiple versions. And so you have to physically remove those in order to get them out of your system. we're not going to remove them for you because we never know when you might want them.
Right. Exactly. So while we do try to help you with a lot of things, there are some things that we will not make that decision for you because it's company to company and how you want things to look in your system and be available. And if I'm not mistaken, Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but as our customers are working on those new procedures and new instructions and policy manuals that go to the new standard, they can check them in and check them out and be continuing to work on them, but they're not released. They don't have to release them every time. So that way, the general public, if you've got other people who have desktop or desktop web access, are going to grab that procedure, they'll still grab the one that is current to the TS until you make that official switch into IATF. Is that a correct statement?
That is a correct statement. Yes, thanks for pointing that out. It's another very important feature because a lot of people are nervous about working on their current procedures and thinking that, well, gosh, if I'm starting to work on the new ones, then the old ones aren't going to be available. And that's not true. As long as they're current, they will stay available to everybody who needs access to them until you release the revised version. They won't see it until it's actually released.
Great. So that can, if you're like me and you maybe start working on something and you check it back in because you get interrupted or you've got a meeting to go to, you don't have to worry about somebody reading half a procedure. So until you're ready to release it to the masses. There's still time to put any last minute questions. If you have them, please don't hesitate to do that. Brad, I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind, because again, we've kind of got a diverse group here in that some of the folks are actively using the authoring tools and have been with us using that procedure. And we have some people who registered today that I think were curious about why would I use our template, the suite template pack and authoring tools versus our Word documents, or wow, there is so much more. And again, I kind of don't really know where to start because it's such a big change. What would you say to those folks who maybe are considering our template pack and the authoring tools versus Microsoft Office? Okay. I know you love to talk about this. That's why I decided to throw it at you.
Well, all of the authoring tools were designed to save 30 to 70% of the document creation time when you're creating a procedure or instruction or a policy manual. A lot of people are not aware that there is a guidance document from ISO that contains the actual structure and what's supposed to be contained in the document and how it's supposed to look. They go so far as even outlining the indentions or the formatting and even suggestions on fonts and font size and things like that really, I don't think a standards organization really has any business doing, but I guess that's my opinion and not necessarily those shared by everybody else. But we have followed the guidelines of ISO TR 10013 in providing you with pre-formatted and pre-structured environment. And by providing you with the content that's ready to edit, we can save you that 30 to 70% of the time. I know the longer a document is, when you make a change fairly early in the document, that it can certainly significantly change the formatting of the document from that page on. So if you've got say for example, a 75-page policy manual, and you make a change on page 10, and you've done it in Word, and you make a change and it adds a paragraph in there, that can change the formatting of the document throughout the rest of the document, depending upon the way that you've structured it. And sure, it's been our experience that people will spend about 50% of the time on creating a document. They'll spend on formatting, and that's non-value-added time to us. So if you can let us do that heavy lifting, then you can focus your time that is invaluable to you. So you might as well let us do the heavy lifting and not let you worry about that formatting. And we'll just go ahead and make the adjustments all the way through. And we'll even update your table of contents in the policy manual. We'll take care of all of that so that you don't have to. We also take
Absolutely.
advantage of pool information. So, for example, if you're creating a document, I'll just create a new one here, and I'll just randomly select one. You can see here's one of those previous, one will say compliance with legal requirements. So when you're working in a document and you go into definitions, you're not typing out the term in the definition. When you select it, you're bringing it from the definitions pool. And so when you're selecting from a pool, you're getting the same information in every place where you put it in. So you don't have to retype acceptable risk or whatever the term is and the definition. There's no chance of transposing information or misspelling the information. If it's misspelled and you didn't get it in the spell check, it's going to be the same in every document. So at least you've got consistency. Because that's something that auditors have a tendency to look at is consistency. They like to see a consistent structure and they like to see a consistent format. And if they don't see that, they're not necessarily going to say anything, but they're going to start scrutinizing your organization a lot more in detail, because if you're willing to accept differences in your formatting of your documents, you're probably willing to accept variation in your process output as well, because this is a process output. So why would this be any different than any of your other processes? And some people will scoff at that, but I talk to an auditor and they'll back me up on that. So they won't necessarily tell you that they're looking at it, but they will. Even your internal auditors, that's what they're trained to look for. And so once again, you're saving time and you're providing consistency throughout your documentation. Same with responsibilities. Responsibility codes, you can't even add responsibility codes in a procedure because that's done at the process level. So when you create a process step, you're assigning the responsibility codes for the individual step, and then it gets accumulated into the responsibility code. So you can't even edit this area here. So you can't make a mistake. You can't forget something. It's automatically done for you. And those are just some of the ways that we make it easier for you and faster for you to document. Rochester Institute of Technology put out a study that said the average procedure takes 90 hours to create a procedure for a quality management system. It's not my study, it's their study, so I'll let them stand behind their work, but 90 hours to create a document, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, like I said, everybody, you get a lot of bang for your buck when you're talking to Brad. He always expands and gives a lot of information when asked a question, which I really appreciate, and he also gives a lot of different ways to do things. So if you have not had the opportunity to talk to Brad, give him a call, because he can be very thorough in his explanations. I appreciate that, Brad. And again, there are folks that maybe have things in Word, even though you're starting, if you would decide to pursue the authoring tools and the template pack with us, it's not that your work in your Word documents and your TS would be lost. One of our customers who is coming back and wants to use this because they've just kind of gotten away from it but wanted to use it, said, if nothing else, the template pack with the content reminds them of areas that maybe, because they're in it every day, forget to think about, forget to acknowledge. And again, still might not be something that pertains to them, or, you know, whatever the case may be, but it does make them make sure that they don't miss any area of this new standard. So that's another way to look at it. And if you do have information in Word documents or other type of electronic files, you could copy and paste into the authoring tools and not lose it. But again, just make sure that you are indeed still answering the questions in the standard and making sure that you've covered everything. So that was a little salesy pitch. I'm sorry. We really try not to do that very often, but I do know that there's folks that are considering it, and I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of insight onto some benefits that we can certainly bring to you with our tools. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't do a little bit of that. So anyways, we pretty much covered Most of the questions, like I said, everybody, we are going to do a recording. We've recorded this. We'll send the link out so you can listen to it again. You can watch it. I know that we moved through some things pretty quickly because we only had an hour. When you get started on your getting into this, please don't hesitate to use our technical support group. And if you think that you might need a little extra help than maybe just, hey, I'm not sure where to go here, let us know, because what we can do is we can schedule a go-to meeting and we can spend some 30 minutes to an hour with you and just kind of make sure that you feel really comfortable with where you are. I do want to let you know the fact that you all registered for this webinar means that you read your email, which just makes our marketing department so happy when people read what we send out. This is the way that we communicate new releases, new functionality, new modules, training. It's the way our sales department gets information out when we're running, a training special or things like that. One of the things I want to make sure that you all know is that we right now are going through a major upgrade to our corrective action module. I don't know, some of you may have it, some of you may not. It kind of takes that basic quality management system of the authoring tools and the template pack and desktop and document manager, and then rounds it out with our audit manager and corrective action module, which helps you conduct and schedule your internal audits. It allows you to have checklist questions so you can send your internal auditors out with questions. And then if they find any nonconformances, it ties right into our corrective action. But you don't even have to have our audit manager module to use our corrective action module for CAPA. So just wanted to let you know, be on the lookout if that's an area maybe you're having some challenges with, or you already have our corrective action module. Major releases coming up probably in the next 30 to 45 days. Development loves it when I push them. So anyways, but we're going to get that out to you. And if you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Wanted to, again, the latest release, version 3.98, revision 4, is available for download on our website. If you have any questions about how to get it, if your IT doesn't know, most of you should have an account already, or your IT folks have an account on our website. But if there's been some turnover that we're not aware of, please let me know. We'll get you an account ready. You can download the software, and your license files will be coming very shortly. Again, please don't hesitate to take advantage of our great technical support. We really pride ourselves on getting back to you in a timely fashion, making sure that your questions are answered. And again, if you're fortunate to talk to some of our long-term employees, you get a lot of information when you call us. Training, if you haven't touched your authoring tools in a while, and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm really going to have to dig in here, let me know. There is going to be a training special coming out. So again, watch your emails. So if you maybe haven't been into Procedure Writer in a while, might be a good time to come visit us in Indiana. We'd love to have you. We also offer virtual training through GoToMeeting sessions, just like we're doing today, but you have a live trainer on the phone, and we don't mute you. So that's the nice thing. You actually are able to engage with the trainer and ask questions back and forth. So be on the lookout for that. So far, there's not been any other questions that have come in, so I think we've covered everything. No, we went over by about 8 minutes, so I apologize for that. Just want to tell you, thank you so much, one, for your business, for putting your confidence in us. If there's any way that we can assist you through this process, or just you're facing a business challenge in general, give us a call. We are always excited and willing to jump in and just talk about it with you and see if maybe there's a way that we can help you. And if not, we'll tell you up front, but maybe there's some things that we can do to make your life a little bit easier. And that's what we're here for. We want to do that if at all possible. So thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate your time and going through everything with us. And let us know. Let us know when you start this process and how things go. And if you have questions, let us know. we'd be happy to help you. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great afternoon and a great rest of your week.